Remember that time when Jason Momoa did an extreme metal record? Well, apparently that's happened right now as we're talking. Hello, nerds. Going to just skip through all the formalities. This is the news show. Depending on which platform you're watching, kind of changes what the title is, but it's all, for this episode at least, it's all going to be the same information. As I stated in the last episode, I'm on vacation, so things are going to look and possibly sound a little different because I don't have all of my regular gear, as would be expected, because I am a good couple hundred miles away from where I actually live. So, all that being said, we have a news show to get to, and we have a fair amount to talk about, though I'm going to go through it pretty quick. Okay, so starting things off like we do in the regular show, we are starting in music. Actually, before I get to that, just whatever platform you're listening to, make sure you are subscribed, or watching on, make sure you are subscribed, make sure you do all of the things. And then, yeah, here's the news. So, music is the first thing that we are talking about. We have two pieces to talk about. We're not doing any follow-ups. We're not doing any of that stuff. There are some rumors we're going to get to, but by and large, this is going to be a very stripped down episode. So, our first piece of music is a band called Gone is Gone. This is a new project from the likes of, I'm sorry, I have to read this, Troy Sanders from Mastodon, Tony Hajjar from At the Drive-In, and he was on the Sparta side of that split, Troy Van Leeuwen from Queens of the Stone Age, and keyboardist, guitar player that I've never heard of, a guy named Mike Zarin. They have teamed up to do a new project. The name of the project is Gone is Gone, and the name of the album is called If Everything Happens for a Reason. Now, I don't have anything as far as new singles or anything from this project just yet. The record is set to release December 4th, so very likely there will be a single from this that we'll be talking about on the main channel. Just all of the people that are involved. Sorry, I have a thing in my throat. I keep having to clear my throat, but all of the people involved is why I wanted to bring this up, just because every one of those names, again, except for the keyboardist, guitar player guy, Matt Zarin, are people that make great music. Well, to varying degrees. I mean, Sparta is probably not what a lot of people would call great music, though plenty of people like them because my girlfriend's one of them and she's glaring at me right now. So yeah, new project from those guys. It's just those names alone. They could fart on a snare drum and I think it would probably be really interesting. So our next piece is from Scour. Now, those of you who are familiar with extreme metal, with really heavy stuff, or just like to keep tabs on Philip Anselmo, you might recognize this band name because this is his other musical project that he's kind of been doing off and on for quite some time. Shaky camera. They are putting out the third and final EP of the EP trilogy, because that's a super original name. This one's noteworthy for a number of reasons. A, because it's Phil Anselmo doing another music project. B, because it's, again, a more rare occurrence in that it's a Scour project. So super heavy, super aggressive, very not radio-friendly stuff. But also, on this EP, there is a song that you can find the links to in the show description, the show notes, whatever you want to call it. You can find a link to the first single from this EP, and it features guest vocals from none other than Aquaman himself, Jason freaking Momoa. Remember that time when Jason Momoa did an extreme metal record? Well, apparently that's happened right now as we're talking. So, Yeah, very interesting. I want to add this to the list of reactions to do, but I also just want to listen to this song because I'm super interested, like very intrigued by the idea of Jason Momoa being a guest vocalist. I don't know, just all of that seems very crazy and something that I really want to check out. So may or may not do a reaction video to it, but either way, it's happening. You can go check it out. Release date is November 27th. This is the Black EP. The first two EPs, again, in the trilogy, are the Gray and the Red EPs, and they've come out over the last approximately 5 or so years. Yeah, so that is everything for music. Now we're going to jump into TV streaming. And like I said, we're going to try and do these as quick as possible. So first up in TV streaming, we're talking about Sandman, the new Sandman series Neil Gaiman is actively working on with Netflix. Netflix? I think it was Netflix. I don't know. I'm on vacation. I didn't do the deepest of the research. But excuse me. Gaiman can neither confirm nor deny that we will be seeing John Constantine in this new series, so that sounds interesting. Assuming that he's playing coy as a means to leading us down the path to believing that Constantine will actually be in this. There has been no announcement, obviously, as to who the actor is that's going to play him, if they're going to bring in the guy. Again, names right now just not happening. Bring in the guy from the Arrowverse on the CW, or if they're going to cast somebody new. Either seems very likely at this point, but neither is for certain. So our next piece is Y the Last Man. This is kind of a follow-up piece, but I just thought it was significant because it's been back and forth and back and forth and back and forth so much. So the back and forth is now on the back. We are finally going into active production on the series. The last hang-up was the chimp in the series was going to be played by an actual monkey, and now they're doing a CG monkey because they got so many complaints, because reasons that just doesn't seem to make sense to me, but it is what it is. We do live in the current year, and this is the way things go down. So that's really interesting. Our next piece is actually kind of a twofer. The second half of which you have probably already heard, and it sounds very likely. So I'm going to stop bearing the lead. We're talking about Moonknight. Moonknight has officially gained their director for the entire series, it sounds like. The name of the director is Mohamed Diab, I'm thinking. He is going to be directing the entire series over on Disney Plus. And then the other half of this, remember I said it's twofer, the other part of this is Oscar Isaacs is actually in negotiations to play the lead character. Now, it has not been signed, so it is not 100% that Oscar is going to be the Moon Knight, but it does look good for that to be the case. So as the ink dries, we will be talking about that in a more proper episode, but we are now moving on to our next piece, which is, appropriately enough, Ginger Snaps. It is a Halloween-themed piece. Ginger Snaps, for those, again, that don't know, is a kind of B-level horror movie that came out not that long ago. That was, I don't know, it really didn't do well in theaters, but is kind of cult status these days. It is getting a series. The series is going to... it is not in the notes. Huh. So apparently, because I feel like that would have gone in the notes if even with my half-assed notes that I've been taking for this episode, I feel like I would have put, if there was a network or something that had picked it up, Netflix or some other streamer, that would have gone in the notes. So seems that they're shopping this still, even though they are setting in place things to get this going into production. There is no network or streamer behind it just yet. Very likely, I would imagine Shudder would be right on top of this. Probably Netflix, probably Amazon would be in the running as well. But we don't know that for certain. If we do hear an update on that, we will definitely put that in the follow-up section. But that's what we've got there. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about the CW. They did just announce the premieres for their lineup of shows. the shows that are still going on, and there's really not that many that really pertain to the kind of content we cover here. So we're going to just talk about it's 4 of them that I'm looking at right now. So first up is Batwoman rather, season 2. Begins airing on January 17th. Superman and Lois has finally got a release date, and that is February 23rd, which is the same day for The Flash. So Flash is coming back February 23rd. And then the only reason I'm putting this in here is because Jared Padalecki. I was right the first time, because Jared Padalecki is in this, and he's in Supernatural, and Supernatural is definitely a show that we talk about on here from time to time, and that I watch pretty actively. So Walker, they dropped the Texas Ranger part, but is now just called Walker. That premieres on January 21st. On the CW. So that's what we've got there. And then we only have 2 more pieces in TV streaming. This is honestly the largest section for the episode. So the next piece is Assassin's Creed. Like the day after I left for my vacation, Netflix decided that they wanted to drop a huge announcement. And honestly, this is actually bigger than you might be thinking, or than you might have even heard, because everyone seems to be talking about the live action Assassin's Creed series, which is coming. Netflix is doing a live action Assassin's Creed series, but also they're doing, and this is a little weird in the verbiage, because the announcement said that they're not only doing a live action series, but they're also doing an anime style series and an animated style series. So anime and animated are kind of the same thing, aren't they? So it seems that, if nothing else, we're getting 3 different Assassin's Creed series on Netflix. So let's hope the first one doesn't screw things up, and so we can get something quality out of all 3. And then our final piece in TV streaming is an update. I know I said I wasn't going to do this, but I mean, it was cool enough it had to go in. Tiny Toons. We are getting updates on the Tiny Toons reboot, because the Animaniacs reboot is just around the corner. So Tiny Toons reboot, which is still in early production, they have announced that Elmira will not be part of at least the first season. Now, if it does well, I would imagine they will bring back as many characters as they deem necessary, and Elmira, I would imagine, is going to be the first on that list. But she's not going to be part of the main reboot, at least for season 1. So that's what we got for TV streaming. Now let me adjust my notes and we can talk about movies, of which there is only one update. That one update is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which came out 30 years ago. So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is getting a theatrical re-release because it came out 30 years ago. If you have a theater near you that does the Fathom events, that is how it's happening. So November 5th, 6th, and 7th, it will be a Fathom event. If your movie theaters near you are even open, then this is a thing that you definitely should try and go to for a number of reasons, not the least of which being the original Ninja Turtles movie is amazing. Even today, it's so good. I mean, granted, if you really want to pick it apart, it's not the best movie ever, but man, is it a good comic book related movie. Again, kind of not directly related, or not a direct adaptation of the comic book, just, yeah, you know what it is. Go watch it. Fathom Events. Again, November 5th, 6th, and 7th. And that's the only movie piece we have. So we're going to move really quickly through the rest of this. We have gaming and tech. We have one piece. It's an update. Again, I know what I said. So this update has to do with the DC Universe app, which we have been talking about in a number of reasons over the last couple of months. The biggest one being that it seems that DC Universe is dying. Well, we did get an official announcement from Warner Brothers about DC Universe, and that announcement is that DC Universe is not actually dying. It's just drastically changing. So that drastic change is that pretty much all of its original programming has been absorbed into HBO Max. So primarily, what you're getting with the DC Universe app is the comic books and the digital first stuff. They're really, really pushing the digital first comic books on the DC Universe app. So if you subscribe, you get the comics before people who buy the floppies get it. So that's the biggest thing. And then As far as other content, it does sound like some of the older comic book movies and such are going to stay on DC Universe, but really it's just the stuff that's not going to HBO Max. And I feel like there is even a little bit of crossover there too. So it's not dying, but I don't know if it's worth the $8 a month anymore. So there's that. That's all we have for gaming and tech. Now we're going to switch one more time, gears into comic books and books. Sorry, again, adjusting the notes. We have two real quick pieces in comic books and books. First is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles again. Woohoo! So Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin is on shelves now. If you have not gone to pick it up, then you must. Because yes, please, and thank you. I'm not going to spoil who the actual last turtle is that is left alive in the story, but it kind of surprised me to learn who it was. I honestly expected it to be somebody else, so I'm super excited about the turtle they chose. Again, go pick it up. It's on shelves now. The second book is coming out December 16th, and you will be able to find books 1 and 2 on comic book shelves at that time. And then our only other piece is The Three Jokers has come to its conclusion. So now you can go get all of the Black Label books, or you can wait for the trade, which is what I'm really doing. I mean, I know the story because I've been keeping tabs on it, but to get the actual book, I'm getting the trade. So you can pick up all 3 issues right now. We're gonna have to have a conversation in the comment section or wherever about how this ending may or may not be good, because it's kind of breaking some rules that I as a Batman fan feel like shouldn't be broken, but also in a really great way, so I'm kind of okay with it. So yeah, let's have that conversation. We're gonna move on though. Final section, as always, is the rumor mill, and again, gonna be short and quick. We've got a couple of things. So the first one is kind of a vague, and we're not going to do any likelihood percentages on this one. I think I'm just going to say how strongly I feel like it's likely or something. But yeah, so the rumor mill, first up is MCU. There's been a quasi-major leak, potentially. The plots for the MCU going forward, the major story points, I guess, have been reportedly leaked, and they are Avengers Forever, which is a comic book that I have not read. Cold War 2, which is one that I'm familiar with, but I haven't read every issue, so on and so forth. And then World War freaking Hulk is apparently going to be coming to the MCU. So of these 3, I honestly think they're all pretty likely. It seems that Feige's kind of staying loosely related to the things that we're familiar with, so I can't see why any of those wouldn't happen, especially World War Hulk, because it is such a fan favorite. Next, we're talking about Harley Quinn. This one is kind of an obvious, though maybe not likely, rumor. The rumor is that HBO Max, and there's a number of HBO Max rumors because there apparently was a big spoil leak thing that happened over the last few days, but apparently HBO Max is getting a live action Harley Quinn series that is going to be starring Margot Robbie, if the rumor is to be believed. This one, really, I think this relies a whole lot on the not just the Snyder Cut. I feel like that's a little bit, but also very much on the new Suicide Squad reboot movie, because if her character does well in that movie as far as fan opinions go, then I think this will get greenlit. If Margot Robbie is not the center of attention for this movie, or she's not the one that the fans really attach themselves to, then I don't see this going anywhere. Next, we're talking about Assassin's Creed. That same Assassin's Creed Netflix series, the rumor is that they have approached Michael Fassbender to... It didn't say specifically if they wanted him to star in the series or if he's just going to have a cameo. I think, if anything, they will have an Easter egg kind of cameo by Fassbender. I don't think that they have the kind of pull to get Fassbender to do a series for them. But it is Netflix, and they did at one point print their own money until Disney Plus came around. So It's possible. I just don't think it's super likely. Our next piece, again, HBO Max, we're talking Joker, not Joaquin Phoenix Joker. This is potentially a new Joker is getting a series over on HBO Max. Again, the rumor went on specifically to say it's not likely to be Joaquin Phoenix's portrayal of the character, so this isn't going to be the sequel kind of hidden in a series. Likelihood for this, this is not super likely. I don't think this is going to be, at least not in the near future at all. I think there's going to be a lot of things that need to happen in the DC movie universe before this can happen. Next, we're talking about Teen Titans. There is reportedly multiple spinoffs, and this is as vague as the rumor was that I could find from multiple sources, but multiple spinoffs for Titans after season 3, one of which is apparently going to be a Jason Todd Red Hood spinoff, but also another one had something to do with Wonder Woman because reportedly they had to bring in Gal Gadot, or they approached Gal Gadot to have a cameo or some sort of minor role in this series. So I can see that happening. DC, the Teen Titans show or the Titans show, I guess, is doing well. So it would make sense, much like Mandalorian over on Disney Plus, that they would get a bunch of spinoffs for their most popular series. Somehow I feel like they need to connect this and Doom Patrol together, but they're so far apart, I don't see that happening either. Next, we're talking about some video game rumors, and then we're going to call this an episode. So first video game rumor is Star Wars. Reportedly, there is active production on the Force Unleashed version, or the third game in the series, I guess, for the Force Unleashed. The rumor was very unspecific as to if it's going to be current gen, next gen. I would imagine it's going to straddle that line and be on all of the current and next gen systems, or at least PlayStation and Xbox current and next gen. Beyond that, though, is this happening? Probably somewhere, though it does seem that the current trend for Star Wars games is multiplayer, and Force Unleashed is not necessarily that. So they might be trying to work in multiplayer into it to make it make sense in their current landscape of video games. If that's the case, then sure. If not, then I doubt it. So our final piece has to do with Mortal Kombat. Of course, we couldn't go very long without talking about Mortal Kombat. So the rumor is, and this is not from our regular leaker, our regular data miner, so that's why I feel much better calling it rumor, but the rumor is that there is going to be an additional character in this Combat Pack. In Combat Pack 2, instead of it just being the 3, Rain, Rambo, and Melina, there is a mysterious 4th slot in the Steam code for the game. Potentially this could be more gear, this could be a number of things, but the placement seems to imply that it's going to be a character according to the data miner, which this is a new data miner. This is not the Thinny. This is not any of the other previous sources we've had, so very much grain of salt. I hope this is true. I don't think it is, though. So again, that's all we have for the episode, guys. Thank you very much for joining me. Tune in to the next one. Again, whichever platform you're on, you know the schedule and you know when I post the episodes. So I appreciate you, nerds. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to, do all of the things. Again, whichever platform you're on, these are all getting the same upload today. So thank you very much, nerds. We'll see you in the next one. Before we head out, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.